Today, we're diving into a hidden battle, one that pretty much shapes everything, from your daily habits all the way up to the grand story of evolution itself. It's this constant war between making progress and just staying comfortable. And, getting a handle on it is the key to understanding why we, as people, and even as a whole society, get so stuck sometimes.
So, let's kick things off with a little bit of a puzzle. What in the world could a distracted brain, a failing school system, and the entire sweep of evolution possibly have in common? I know, it sounds totally random, right? But believe it or not, there is a single, incredibly powerful principle that's secretly running the show behind all of them.
And that universal principle? Well, that's what we're tackling right now. We're talking about maybe the deepest force in all of life. This constant, relentless tug of war between staying exactly the same and the urgent, desperate need to change.
Now, you probably remember this word from high school biology, homeostasis. It's how your body keeps a steady temperature, no matter what. It's all about keeping things stable, in equilibrium. But here's a wild thought. What if that simple definition we all learned is, well, kind of wrong? What if homeostasis isn't about preventing change, but is actually the very thing that drives it?
Okay, this is where things get a major upgrade. The old view of homeostasis is basically like a thermostat in your house. It just keeps things stable right here, right now. But the new, more dynamic view sees it as a force that works across time. It's not just about keeping things balanced today, it's the engine that actually pushes evolutionary change forward over millions of years.
So here's the big takeaway from all this. Homeostasis isn't just a brake pedal, it's the whole engine. It's this fundamental conflict between the comfort of staying put and the absolute necessity of adapting to a world that's always changing. This battle, this push and pull, it's the very mechanism of life itself.
All right, let's take that huge, almost cosmic principle and zoom way, way in. Let's see how this exact same battle plays out on the most personal level there is, that constant tug of war happening inside our own minds.
So on one side of this internal fight, you've got our incredibly powerful drive for growth. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows this perfectly, right? We're just wired to want to climb this ladder, from our basic needs for survival, up to connection and belonging, and finally, hopefully, to reaching our full potential. This is the change and adaptation force inside every one of us. It's our inner engine of progress.
But pulling in the exact opposite direction is an equally powerful force, the one that makes us want to just give up. It's a fascinating and kind of sad phenomenon called learned helplessness. Basically, when we face tough situations over and over again, situations that feel totally out of our control, we eventually just stop trying. Even when a way out finally appears, it's that little voice in your head that says, "Why even bother? Nothing I do is going to make a difference anyway."
Let's look at a super modern example of this battle. We all try to multitask, don't we? Answering emails while you're supposed to be in a meeting, scrolling through your phone while you're watching a movie. We think we're being so efficient, but as this chart makes painfully clear, our actual cognitive performance just tanks. Our brain's desire for something new, that little dopamine hit from a fresh notification, is literally at war with its ability to focus deeply and get one single thing done well.
And get this isn't just a feeling of being unfocused. It has a real physical basis. Research has actually found that heavy media multitaskers can have lower gray matter density in a specific part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. Now, why does that matter? Well, that region is absolutely critical for things like focus and self-control. So this internal battle between distraction and focus can literally, physically reshape our brain.
Okay, so this whole battle doesn't just stay inside our heads. Let's zoom back out again, because these same exact forces are at play in our schools, in our cultures, and across our entire societies, building these invisible walls that keep us all stuck.
Just think about our education system. Many schools are still running on a model that was designed for a 19th century factory. Seriously, think about it. Bells telling you when to start and stop, subjects all broken up into these disconnected little boxes, students batched together by age like they're on an assembly line. This whole system was built for the kind of stability and compliance you needed for the Industrial Revolution. But today, it often ends up stifling the very dynamic creativity our world desperately needs. It's a system stuck in the past. This same thing happens at a cultural level too. In some cultures, there's this thing called tall poppy syndrome, where anyone who gets a little too successful gets cut right down to size. In others, you'll see the crab mentality. Like a bunch of crabs in a bucket. If one starts to climb out, the others will literally pull it back down. Both of these are really powerful social forces that keep the group's status quo by punishing anyone who shows too much individual growth or ambition. It's homeostasis in action, preserving stability but at the cost of any real progress. So, we've seen this battle inside our own minds and out in our societies. Now, for our final section, let's zoom out to the biggest scale of all, life itself. This is where the stakes of this battle aren't just getting a promotion or passing a test, they're survival or extinction.
I want you to picture the moment that vertebrates first moved from the water onto land. The stress on them must have been immense. As the oceans started to dry up, that pressure forced brand new adaptations. Things like lungs to breathe air, stronger skeletons to deal with gravity. The creatures that tried to cling to their stable, comfortable life in the water, they went extinct. The ones that adapted survived. Evolution is just this battle, this exact same battle, played out over millions and millions of years. And that's the key here. This struggle between staying the same and being forced to change isn't some flaw in the system. It is the system.
And all of this brings us to this really profound quote from H.G. Wells. Civilization is a race between education and catastrophe. In this context, education is that dynamic, adaptive force. It's our ability to learn, to grow, and to change. And catastrophe? Well, that's what happens when we fail. It's what happens when our rigid systems, our learned helplessness, and our cultural crab mentality keep us stuck and unable to face new challenges.
So, you see, this huge battle between stability and change isn't just some abstract theory from a textbook. It's happening right now in your own life every single day. So I'll leave you with a question to really think about. As you look at your habits, your career, your relationships, which parts of your life are actually driving growth and which ones are just keeping you comfortable but stuck?